Welcome to the Pixel Retentive Podcast, where we, a business owner and an artist, discuss the business of art and the art of business. Hey friends, I'm Carl, founder of Epic Made, and I'm the host of the Pixel Retentive Podcast, where we share our thoughts on creativity, art, and business. Past guests include Jared Beasley of Astoria, Carrie Ann King of Illuminate Labs, and Fadi Bolos of Supportful. I'm forever grateful for the supporters of our podcast, and I'm always looking for more sponsors. That said, Pixel Retentive is brought to you by the creative gurus at Epic Made. Epic Made is a team of strategists and artists who excel in visual storytelling. Our studio crafts unforgettable animations and illustrations that not only captivate your audience, but also drive tangible business results. We specialize in engaging imaginative, pop culture savvy audiences with beloved clients like Nickelodeon, WWE, and Sci-Fi. Visit getepicmade.com and let's collaborate on your next creative campaign. All right, got through the scripty stuff. With us today, we have Ian Harrison. What's up, Ian? Good to see you, brother.
What's up, y'all? Hey, Carl. Good to see you always, man. How are you?
Man. Dude, doing really good. Excited to just get on this podcast with you today and riff. I know me and you always have wonderful, fun conversations about all kinds of crazy stuff on Web3, and today's going to be no exception. It's going to be great. All right, so Ian, we have Ian Harrison. Ian is AKA Monster Vision. Is the head of it? Let's get this script. Sorry, he is the head of innovation dude at Sneakar. He's also the disruptive enigma behind Monster Vision, a creative as a service agency focused on digital transformation into Web3 brand market fit. All right, there it is.
There it is.
Cool. So, I mean, obviously, fellow Web3 head, you and I met in the space talking about Web3, and I think we actually interviewed you for our article that we were doing like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and then we just kind of stayed in touch because we just have a lot of similar interests. And the people that have stayed in Web3 through the bear market are the ones who really get it, right? Everyone that was in for a quick buck and a quick scam and a rug was in and out, and now the builders are left making cool shit,
Thank
right?
goodness. Thank goodness. Yeah.
No kidding.
I mean, there's always going to be some people that are just wanting to watch the world burn down, right? We can't get rid of everybody, but I think people played themselves and can never return, at least as who they were, and that's the beauty of, I guess, being on the ground floor of something and people burning out or rug pulling and going through their entire gambit of whatever their impact is going to be, positive or negative. It really does, to your point, kind of clear the playing field. And all right, let's let the architects here. Let's build into the future. It's infinite possibility. Let's see what that means,
Yep. Ran all the grifters out, as I like to say. But cool. So before we jump into today's subject, I'd love for our audience to get to know you a little bit better. So tell us how long you've been in your industry and what project you're most proud of so far.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like as far as in Web3, probably entered the space in 2020. So about four and a half years ago, it was through the Wax blockchain of all things and Garbage Pail Kids cards.
Yes.
I'm an avid collector of cool shit. And so as a kid, I had the Muscle Man and I had all the Garbage Pail card stickers and Marvel X-Men, Masterpiece, blah, blah, blah. None of that stuff ever really left my interest or my peaks. We just kind of have to do what we have to do to get along and work and adult and blah, blah. But I'm just such a kid at heart and I'm such a nerd at heart. And so when I saw a Garbage Pail Kids food fight collector's tin at a Walmart back in 2020, I was like, oh, sport. Unbeknownst to me, it was going to thrust me into this entire giant crypto conversation I had in 2019 with my buddy Lex Lewis. He's a Solidity developer, or was at the time. He's gone on to do amazing things since then. But regardless, he had this conversation with me like, yo, Ian, I know you just signed with Sony Orchard on your music. I know you just broke some monumental streaming record, but forget about all of that. Burn it to the ground. Start all the way over. And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? There's no way. But he was like, the future in music is NFTs, ownership, fractional royalties, generational royalties, right? All this stuff. And then he was explaining Satoshis to me and cryptography and validation and authenticators and transactions. And I was just, it was swirling, right? It was like that math meme where the numbers are just, but none of it really left like cooking up in my mind, like just, okay, that conversation's there for whenever it's going to be needed. Fast forward to the garbage pail kid tin. I'm cracking packs like a kid again. I'm like, man, this is great. And I get to one that has like a scratch off area on it. So I scratch it off and there's like a code. It says, go to this site, put in this code, get 3 free digital garbage pail kids cards. Well, dude, what it was having me do was put in a code, go to the Wax blockchain, get a Wax cloud wallet, and claim 3 NFTs that were garbage pail kid NFTs. Holy shit, man, my world shifted. The notion and understanding of token backing my assets, my musical assets, my creations, my records, my merchandise, everything that I had been building 20 years in the world of performance to do, touring and festivals and shit bars and one-off shows, right? Creating these like memorable moments for me, myself, my fans, my listeners, etc. Like all of it sort of hit this giant light bulb aha moment of like really understanding how blockchain and Web3 community first building could propel my artistry into a new realm. And boy, the fuck has it. So from there, I set out to build a community around creating token backed Monster creations. I've really leaned into Monster Vision heavy. So Monster Vision's always sort of been a hyperbolic brand entity. Like if Monster is my performance artist name, Monster Vision is the brand. And then from there, it amalgamated into a community, a following, incubator hub on Telegram, which is kind of a Discord rival for those who don't know. Most people fucking know what Telegram is. So anyways, I have like a 400-person incubator that's a creator and collector alike project called to promote so let's try to kick this back up.
Okay, cool. Well, let's just rock back into it, man. So, look, I was asking you basically what. Apologize for the technical interruption there. We'll edit that in. So, but yeah, we were just asking, like, how long you've been in the industry. You got into that, and you started talking about your journey through Garbage Pail Kids and how you just kind of fell in love with NFTs through that connection on the Wax blockchain, which is really cool. If you don't know about Wax, Tops has a lot of the big card companies came into Web3 through the Wax blockchain because it has such little gas fees, and the barrier to entry is really easy. And there's like stuff like Atomic Hub, which is like one of the main wallets there. But yeah, it's a cool platform. So yeah, you were just kind of getting into that. You found a little scratch off. You claim these NFTs, and then kind of you were going from there. So
awesome. All right. Well, yeah, I'll just pick it right back up from there. So from that point, my mind was blown, and I leaned in heavy to understanding the value in token backing assets as a musician, as an artist, as a creator, as a brand owner, and just hit the ground running. So I built a entire community around my experiences in Wax. I have an incubation platform on Telegram. We have over 350 creators and collectors alike sharing space, dropping collections, dropping projects, most of them on Wax, but a lot of EVM, ETH projects, some off-chain projects. It's really an incubator for brand product market fit for Web3 and people-focused branding and brand content. So I've just leaned in heavy over the last 3 to 4 years in the performative measure of Web3 and to take the generality out of that statement. What I mean to say is the performative measure of people and people first branding, community first orientation. The deliverables and the product we have are only as valuable as the problem we're solving, right? For our clients, for our customers, for our friends and family. And so from that mentality, I've just worked to create an agency that centers around chasm crossing for product owners, C-level stakeholders, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs that are looking for some form of digital transformation or a way to deliver perhaps archaic or old messaging, old brand copy in a way that is people first, in a way that is oriented to deliver authenticity and social proof. And I think that that's so important in this day and age. At the cost of everything being at our fingertips, and everything being in this emergent age, it's so important to know that we're providing some value, some service, we're solving some problem, we're creating some level of connection that's going to drive cohesion and empowered spend beyond the single serving. And that's a lot of what I counsel on. It's a lot of what I consult on in my client sessions. And that's translated into one of the most proudest brands and products I've ever been a part of that I've touched, that I've founded, which is Sneakar. Should we go into that now, or do you want to segue before we kind of really dive into what I've been working on for the last year? Or
yeah, I mean, we can jump into that. I mean, so basically the high level, and I just kind of want to reiterate, like, what Web3 is really revolutionizing is really creating value and bonds and communities through this technology that's transparent and transferable, and like this, just all these different traits that are innately to, you know, what anything that's on a shared ledger, which is Web3 technology, blockchain. These are all kind of synonyms. They're little different interpretations, but long story short, these are all kind of amalgamous. So the thing that people should really be taking away from like that is the community, and that these things are adding value, like real value, which is really, really cool, and seeing that evolve. So like, now speaking into that, you know what that's all about. Now, what you've done with Sneakar is layered in some blockchain ideas and even some of that technology alongside of actual augmented reality, right? So this is really powerful next generation shit that like can really transform community interaction with a brand or with a person or even like with an event or any kind of thing. Like there's so many ways to layer this in.
You just nailed basically all three verticals, man. Yeah, like spot on. And before we go into Sneakar, I just want to touch back onto something that you said. That's the power of the performative measure of putting a utility to your brand, to your creation, to your assets. I think that's what a lot of the like Web3 times blockchain crossover is. Like the collaboration between a Web3 product market fit brand and Web3 performative measures is the fact that authenticating your thing, whatever that thing is, whether it's tangible or digital, authenticating it on ledger in something that can't be altered and it can't be negated and it's provable at any point in time through a transaction is literally, not even figuratively, is literally the next level in top end fashion, authentication, and validation at the retail level. And so I really think as we talk about Sneakar, I want it to be stated that we're talking about a paradigm shift, truly a paradigm shift in the way that we validate and authenticate retail, from AAA fashion and couture down to the bottle of Tylenol you buy when you have a headache. Authenticating it through XR or AR augmentation and blockchain ledger, validating that transaction as verified and provable, creates an ecosystem of trust. And trust is so important in a trustless society because everything is at our fingertips. Everything is digitized. Everything is removed from brick and mortar, and we buy everything online now. It's so important to know that we have both digital trust and social trust. So I just wanted to talk about that really quick.
Yeah, no, that's huge. So some people might be listening to this thinking they don't know much about Web3 and like, why do I need any of that? None of that really matters. So what that really boils down to is that you can create a traceable record of where things can. So on a supply chain side, you can take raw materials and NFT them in batches. Like, so this is an NFT of this raw material. And then when it goes to the next processing facility, it gets checked in at their wallet. And then it breaks into different pieces and has, maybe it's a batch of NFTs under a one collection, right? So there's 1,000 and maybe there's 10,000, maybe there's whatever. You can continue to add to a collection that comes from a minting wallet. So that could be the raw material place. And so what this does is creates a record of everything everywhere, everything things went. So if you cared where something was made, like, oh, I only buy American made products, well, you can scan these barcodes that connect back to these NFTs and see what wallets and where all these things went. So that's a transparency side of things. The other side is like there's an ownership aspect of this. Like when you're talking about couture brands, right? Let's say if I bought a Rolex and it's, you know, because it's a real Rolex, it's worth at least $15,000, right? Something like that, right? And that's on the low end. But if the counterfeit methodologies out there are fakeable. Like there's ways that people can make the best looking fakes, right?
So listen, I'll just jump in right here and say, Carl, to piggyback off of that, I don't know anybody that's been to New York, but if you've been to New York and you've been to Canal,
You can
you
buy
know
fake
exactly
anything.
what Carl is talking about. Everything
Yeah.
is so visibly close. You really do need this ledger technology. And it's funny that you mentioned Rolex because in my past couple of years, I've had two different opportunities to pitch to their team at some capacity. And what we've both centered around to on both occasions is the value add of putting something like a limited edition release on chain so that's validated and verifiable through the bezel of the timepiece by using technology like RFID and putting a chip that's on chain that then links to your wallet when it's only within a certain vicinity of the timepiece and to your phone or to your watch or to whatever validation source you're using. So I just wanted to stress that that example you're using is real world in real time. And secondly, the fact that you're using an understandable operational need to wrap something in a tokenized mechanic. You know, there's a product that I think I'll probably just drop the bomb on at the end and mention a little bit more. There's a product called legitai.com. It does exactly what you're talking about, and I think into a contract, like the amount of units of pallets you're moving, or a piece of real property, like real estate. Where you'd want to wrap any of those things into a contract and tokenize it as an NFT is for the exact reason you touched on, so that you can follow from step one to step Z where everything is occurring inside of that contract, inside of that processing, inside of that workload, inside of that PO. So I think you've really nailed it in a way that I hope listeners, and no matter their field and no matter their wetness into Web3, understand, because we've just touched on really key points that yes, couture, especially couture high end like Tiffany and Rolex and Prada and Brightly, all of that matters. But so does the stuff that gets the world made, and houses and wood, pallet and steel and
Right.
electricity, all of those things. That's where all of this comes into play. So awesome, right on.
Yeah, I mean, at a time when it's easier than ever to fake things and put out a PR campaign that completely lies about what you do as a company and who you are and what, like having real immutable records. That's the big thing, right? Like once something's written on the blockchain, that history of that state, that time, and all the variables at that moment as it updated the ledger, is permanently in the chain, right? Permanently a part of that. That can't be changed. Even some NFTs allow you to transform and do different things as they evolve, but the records are always there perfectly as they were
I
when
love that.
that action happened. So there's a lot of evolvable things. I mean, this is a very diverse, a very there's a lot of diverse ways you could use this technology. But I really love this. So let's dive in a little deeper on what you're working on with Sneakr, and how that's sort of different and unique and revolutionary. And just one last disclaimer on Web3: these technical details don't matter to the end consumer as long as they know they can trust it. And that's the only reason they should understand the technologies, because it's trustworthy.
Social
But
trust, buddy. Yes,
yeah,
nailed it.
but at the end of
Absolutely.
the day, we're removing a need for that, and removing a need for anyone to understand Web3. You don't give a shit. You just want the thing to work, right? So it's like you don't understand how your car works. You turn the key and it goes, right? Same thing. You don't know how the bank works and how servers, share files, and you just know that like you put some money in there and it's still there when you go to need it, right? Like that's how
Seriation
Web3
and
is coming
consensus.
along.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Anyways.
Consensus. Yes. Dude, 100% spot on. And, you and I could riff about this for hours. So, yeah, I love that you're
Right.
bringing it back in. So, back to the product. Yeah, back to Sneakr and sort of what we're doing. Like, I want to say this. What we're doing is novel and it's very cool and we're patented and protected and it's never been done before. All that's accurate. But we're also creating a case study and a testimony to what really can be done when we look at bringing fashion into Web3. And what does that mean? What does it mean when we bring fashion onto the blockchain and we have provable assets, authentic assets, and then unlocking what having those authentic assets into open world environments, metaverses, whatever you want to call them, what that means for extending that experience beyond the single serving. And I've said that twice now because it's so important as a retail brand, as an e-com brand, as a B2C brand, even as a B2B brand, to create return spend, to create return to your brand for whatever that experience and journey telling is so crucial. So back to Sneakr and what I'm talking about and why that matters. So when you buy a pair of Sneakrs, like at the consumer level, when you create that transaction and it's completed, you're going to get an attaboy email, attagirl, attahuman, attathing email. It says, hey, you did it. And in this email, very first thing you see is a giant cool graffiti picture. It says, culture crew, culture clone. What is this about? So, hey, you've done it. You've bought an authentic pair of sneakers. Great job. And here's how you know it's authentic. We've provided you with a token of authenticity. It's called our culture coin. Well, what's a culture coin? A little bit about that. Why though? Like, why do I care? You asked a great question. You made a great statement. Well, people don't give a fuck. They just want to know that it's going to do what it says it does.
Yeah.
And in order to develop that as a Web3 brand, because it's novel, because we're new, because Web3 is new, really, we have to make it do cool shit so that people just want to get into it because it sounds neat and they want to see if it's going to do it. So basically, a 3 or 4 explanation onto why you want to go and get your culture coin, aside from wanting to claim authenticity, so that you're not get it off, right? So as soon as you click this link that's directly embedded into that email, it thrusts you over to our community hub on Uncut. You're directed to sign in with any one of your normal sign-in methods. You can make sign-in. You can use email, Twitter, Facebook, Discord. And if you are already in Web3, by all means, you can sign in with your MetaMask or, Wallet Connect, whatever. But the thing is about it is it's zero finger lift to the consumer that doesn't give a shit about Web3, but it's going to benefit fully from it. So they bought their pair of sneakers. They're like, cool, I'll go claim my culture coin. That sounds cool. As soon as they've done it and they claim it, a Polygon wallet gets spun up underneath the hood. So they now have a token on the blockchain proving their validity without any action required on their end. They're just collecting a cool piece of art and that said, you know what, I bought a sneaker, it's mine, I can prove it now, so I've got this culture coin. But what we're doing on the back end is proving out how underneath the hood we can bring every single consumer into Web3 through fashion by creating something that gets spun up at the point of completion of sale. And so I just want to stress again, we are changing the shape, we are paradigm shifting how fashion gets validated as authentic through our company, through Sneakar, and through our partnership with Uncut. So, yeah, let's pause on that for a second. Do you want to clarify any of that for your listeners? Do you think there's anything I'm missing before I go further?
No, I mean, the long story short, I think is, look, you bought this cool pair of shoes, right? You didn't really care about all the magic of Web3 behind it, but now you're being onboarded in a way that is completely effortless for the user, right? Like you said, you can sign in with all these different accounts. You don't even know that you now have a Polygon wallet because you don't care and maybe don't even know what that means. So, which is fine. You shouldn't need to care. Like, you should just be able to take advantage of all the cool shit and, the utility. So we'll talk about utility. If you've listened to some of the past podcasts, anytime we talk about Web3, especially NFTs, we talk about utility. Utility, excuse me, is just what holding this, in your case, culture coin, unlocks for you as a holder. Like, you have this thing, you're in possession of this digital asset. In this case, it's a certificate of authenticity that is connected to a real world asset, but it doesn't have to be innately. It just is in your case because that makes the most sense. But it also creates this whole ecosystem around that allows you to access gated things that no one else can access unless they can prove they have one of these coins. That can't be replicated. It can't be stolen. It cannot be, cloned in any way. So it's really powerful.
Yes, and I just want to segue to say that is how you get a culture coin. By all means, y'all go buy a pair of sneakers and get into this shit. But we also are kicking off leaderboard events, scavenger hunts in different open world environments like the Omni City, where we're building a skate park and a skate pop-up shop and working with other Web3 brands. And that's the other value and real strong suit, I think, of Web3 brand is collaboration, right? And the power of blockchain allowing for multiple blockchain creators and companies and brands to create these socialify, gamify experiences like I'm describing with an open world skate park that, guess what, your culture coin is going to gate you access into. And now we start talking about digital twins and digitals and converting, having something tangible versus having something in a digital world where you're already spending time and consuming space and consuming copy, into having something that anchors you back into the real world and vice versa, something that's in the real world that anchors you back into whatever the meta experiences you may be having. So that is its own ecosystem. And so you touched on that, and I just really wanted to drive home that the culture coin is our entire access point into getting enculturated with Sneak Bar. Our hashtag is Stay Sneak Bar. That is our slogan. That is how we want everybody to feel, is that they are a part of us, right? So you have to stay in that. And in order to stay in that, you need to be in that. And I think that's really huge for PMF, product market fit, in Web3, is being about it and being a part of it and offering your brand consumers, your NCX, a way to be a part of this journey, because it's a choose your own adventure world. Make sure you're giving them something to anchor on, to hook into. So yeah, back to the culture coin and what we're doing with it and what it sets to do is exactly what you've nailed. So we are creating a community and a hub through Uncut Network and through that email spin up and through that effortless or seamless integration into Web3, whether it's blog posts, upcoming drop announcements, like scavenger hunts and other gaming events. We haven't even touched on geospatial things, which is the augmented or XR aspects of Sneak Bar, which we'll get into next. But before we get into that, I just wanted to circle back to the open world experience on Roblox, on Omniverse City, on Decentraland, and so many other metaverses. Having a token or a gated access is what allows you to have these experiences. And as a brand, you can create tiers of what those experiences are for your end user. So a basic Sneak Bar consumer that buys one pair is automatically thrust into Web3. But as we build our own super fans, we start to incentivize those by creating extra perks, extra utility, extra incentives. Maybe it's exclusive parties where only one of 100 Sneak Bars are ever created, and only those that have 5 culture coins or they've gotten a platinum level culture coin level, etc., are able to access those things. So tying that back into your Rolex example, where you would have something similar, is you have everybody that buys this one drop of a Rolex that gets their token of authenticity in the way that we suggested. But from there, those that are the Rolex super fans and super collectors and the Rob Report Society timepiece collectors of the world are then able to only get these gated access super exclusive events because they've collected so many of these tokenized timepieces as example. So really what, again, we're talking about is a true paradigm shift. I'm using my footwear company, Sneak Bar, as an example. But what we're doing with it is revolutionizing
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this concept is not foreign. People are listening to this going, oh, that makes sense. I forget if it's Ferrari or Lamborghini, but like they have like a type of like a model or a class of vehicle that you have to have previously owned a Ferrari or Lamborghini to even buy one of these. Like, so, but what I think is entirely unique here is that if you choose to do so as the creator of these tokens, right, you can say, well, my tokens are non-transferable, right? You could do that, right? You can make them deadlocked into whatever wallet they're minted to. Or you can say you can now sell this access, right? So you bought 50 pairs of sneakers. You're in the ultra platinum, like I get fucking free time with Ian whenever I want mode of like access, and you get on hard times, or maybe you don't, maybe you're just over sneakers. You can now sell that token to somebody else for whatever you think it's worth, allowing you to have an investment in this thing that is transferable and sellable and actually becomes an asset in its own, depending on how the ecosystem is intentionally set up. That's crazy powerful, right?
Yeah, you just really nailed it, man. Because, let's hope that the latter never happens and no one's ever tired of cars. But if they are, and they want to leverage their value and leverage the value that's been created by them collecting these things for so long, and they've got the elite access, and they've got free design time, design team, and they've got, say, super discounts on fulfillment of the products, right? That's what this token gets you, but then also exclusivity to these top tier events where there are thought leaders and creators and opportunities that only exist for those that have made it to this level. And it allows, let's be frank, it allows the whales of the world that just decide they want to throw their money at something new to be able to experience something like that at that level too, because I don't want to take away or admonish that that level of experience is just as valid as the grinders of the world that are out there buying one pair at a time up to 50. Is that all of this honors the fact that life itself is experience driven, and like the meaning itself of life, the 42 of it is just being here, being in these moments and getting to share them. And so by a brand coming in and shifting the paradigm this way by tokens of authenticity and token dating the experiences, they truly can control their own brand narrative. And that's incredibly hard to do in this world of everything all at once, right? And so I think that's another like just inherent value add when we're not even talking yet about the app and driving people through an app and data aggregation and data mining and understanding your customer population and all of the stuff that kind of comes from going native,
Right.
which I think we should go into now. But
yeah, let's dive into the AR because we're a good ways into the episode. So yeah, I don't mean to keep you guys hanging to the end, but like, yeah. So look, what's the cool shit? What are you guys doing with Sneakr that's just like got you so excited?
yeah, dude, our UPO, like our unique product offering, is the fact that we have a walking billboard effect. And what I mean by that is taking brand kit shoes or your favorite pair of sneakers or your favorite musician, athlete, or sports celebrity, and they've got their own sneaker. And from that, using tokenization and image mapping tech, we're driving augmented experiences right from the shoe. So it's not a QR code. It's not sending you to another website. In fact, flipping the script on that, native directly from our sneaker.io site, we're driving teaser experiences directly from the web and then gamified, interactive, full augmented XR geospatial experiences inside of the app. So using the shoe and whatever the token logo is, the logo image, the character image, the celebrity thing, it then drives the augmented experience. It could be as simple as a 20 or 30-second advert that's mutable. So back to immutable and mutable content, where you can change out the intent and direction of the content of the experience at the asset level using the same image mapping token, all the way to driving a game. We have a game that I've built out called Battlement Blast on the Wax blockchain. And we're currently in talks with Remix Reality, which is an AR gaming platform, on a Sneakr collaboration that will allow the holders of the Remix Reality combo shoe Sneakr to trigger a geospatial gaming experience right off the foot. And then in partnership with one of our fellow colleagues in the world, Lithium, they can come out, Lithium XR can come out and waymap a park or a concert venue or a club, anything that you can think of, and then create a targeted geospatial experience that only those holders of the sneakers will then be able to experience, from gaming to exclusive video releases from musicians to highlight reels from upcoming inductees to the Sports Hall of Fame, right? So these are just kind of touching on some loose generalities of what those augmented experiences can really drive home. And then again, back to the tiered level, depending on what level of sneaker you are and what level of super fan you may be to these celebrity athletes or musicians, you're then getting delivered truly authentic experiences that only get delivered to you based on your level of access inside of the app. So the app can then also gatekeep and deliver different experiences based on what level you are in that brand's paradigm.
When you build things out like this, like, oh, like, you know, let's say Taylor Swift, right? Let's say Taylor Swift gets into this and maybe she makes some sneakers or whatever, right? But like at the end of the day, like, you know, there's always this idea like, oh, I'm the biggest so-and-so fan. Like, you know, these are ways that like people can actually prove that. Well, look, this is the community, these are the NFTs, and this wallet holds X% more than everybody else. This is the biggest fan, right? Like right, and this is the top 10% of biggest fans, right? And like this is just a cool thing where people, I think, can really like put some more tangibility to their fandom, and as a creator, being able to have such easy access to that type of information, like you don't know who this person is, particularly depending on how the setup it is. It might just be an anonymous wallet, but I can look at that wall and go, oh my God, they have 500 of my NFTs. Like, let me send them a little thing, right? And you can send NFTs to any wallet you want. So I could go, oh my God, this person's bought so much of my art. Let me send them a little, like, just a message. And you can do that as an NFT. Go, hey, this is Carl. I'm sending you an NFT because you are my biggest fan, and I'd like it to invite you to do X, Y, Z. And then you can build relationships that way. The sky is the limit. Not to mention you can track where NFTs have moved and what wallets are moving, what types of NFTs, and the massive amount of immutable data there can really just leverage crazy amounts of client behavior, like customer actions and behaviors, and like all that stuff. It's just like the sky's the limit. It's
The only
really,
limitation is
really cool.
imagination. And I keep telling
Yeah,
people that. Like when they
yeah.
ask me what all can we do, and I literally ask them, what can you think of? What can you dream of? And that's what we can do. Anything that you can see, let's build it. And that's the value. And there's no relativity limitation. There is no sort of organic anchor, right, that we have in the real world around us. And that's what I think a lot of the whimsical is around VR and XR and these experiences. So you touched on something that I really wanted to drive home is, yeah, it is a flex. Like the social proof, again, is so valid. And as a super fan, you want to be able to say, I am the biggest, baddest ballerist. And I think tying it back into Snoop Dogg and what we do as a low barrier of entry custom footwear company is partnering with that celebrity, musician, artist, athlete. They can then create contests and competitions and leaderboards to allow their superest of super fans, their one of ones, to create something that truly no one else has because it is only accessible by that top tier creme de la creme. I am the ultra super fan guy, girl, person thing.
And think about that from a consumer side, right? Like, so again, like if we go back to like Taylor Swift, right? Let's say you earn the one of one super NFT as the super fan of Taylor Swift, and you've done this or whatever that maybe it's a tier, right? Maybe you're not like that one, but like let's say 100 people, right? And let's say like that unlocks some super thing, but at the end of the day, like you can't take advantage of that. You don't want to take advantage of that, or it's so valuable, it makes sense for your life to sell that thing. And now you've promoted and built up Taylor Swift or whoever the artist is. I'm using Taylor Swift because everybody fucking she's the most selling artist of all time in terms of music.
Pay attention, Taylor. Come on, Swift.
So
let's make a super fan.
But think about that. Through that type of platform, Taylor could make her fans wealthy, could make her fans have real value that they were able to extract into US dollars or whatever their currency is out of their fandom for a person. Like that's really amazing. We haven't seen systems like that before where you get rewarded. Like, and it's not like, oh, I held onto this Beatles album that I got signed 50 fucking years ago. Like, no, these things don't degrade over time. You don't have to keep them in a safe. They're not like you just have to not lose your keys, which is a whole
different. Don't lose your keys. You're talking generational wealth. You're rebuilding entire wealth structure here. You want to talk about disenfranchisement and reenfranchisement and the empowerment that comes from all of the social value of blockchain. And that's what I think people got lost in the sauce on from the Bored Apes of the world, right? And the rug pulls that happen. NFT has this stinks, and now you have to say digital collectible or digital asset. Even you and I have said that interchangeably a couple times. At the end of the day, what we are talking about here is game-changing, paradigm-shifting, fourth industrial revolution shit, man, and it can't be ignored. This is a get right or get left scenario, so we have to be building into the future, or you've already played yourself,
Yeah, dude, definitely.
How much time do we have left? Should we show off what we do?
Like another 10 minutes? Can we do that? Is that going to be?
Yeah, like I've got my iPad here. Like I was thinking,
can you flip it to screen share?
Yeah, well, I'm saying I think you use my iPad to do the example on my shoe, and I'll flip it to screen to because I'm not talking on my iPad, and I don't know if I can open up the Sneakar app on my phone while I'm on Zoom on my phone.
Let's try it. I'm good with it. And let me stress one other thing here with the AR thing, right? Like you said some words like geolocation, things like that, meaning you can have this app for Sneakar, and your sneaker can do a thing when you look at it through the camera, it brings up some augmented reality. Whatever that is designed to be can be anything, right? Like my company does crazy animation. We could turn that sneaker into like something wild, and a monster could fly off the shoe into the air, whatever you want. But that can also change based on the location. So if you're in a special place to the artist or celebrity that's part of this, it can have a different thing that happens just because your shoe is physically located in a different place. And that only unlocks an experience that you have to go to the place with the shoe to unlock the thing and then claim an NFT that you can only do by that thing. Right? Like it's fucking wild. Like the possibilities.
My guy Carl gets it, y'all. My guy Carl gets it. Yes, this is the way. This is the move. This is the vision. That's it entirely. And then thinking about that from a AAA brand standpoint, let's take Nerf, for example, right? So Nerf creates a gun or a toy. Nerf creates a toy and a shoe that has the same logo colorway on the the product and on the footwear. And both are required in this geolocated vicinity. Or you can have it split. So if you have the shoe, you get in, and if you have the toy, you get in. So now you're extending that experience, and you're being able to draw people into your brand, and again, creating that mirrored resonance and empowered spend and ripple and etc. Because you've allowed for this experience to happen by someone who maybe isn't in your brand yet, but because someone that they know, their friends and family, have both this combo pack of the shoe and the toy. Now you're inviting someone into that geolocated experience that still is as exclusive as you've mentioned, but you're allowing to share that, right? And it's those shared moments that define value. So
think about this too. Like, we've seen a lot of places struggle because foot traffic isn't what it used to be, because there's physical retail has taken a huge hit, especially post-COVID, and the boom of Jeff Bezos taking over 40% of retail in its entirety, which is insane. But we won't get into that. But think about what happened with Pokemon Go. You had people going everywhere to play this fucking game and spin a Pokestop and unlock quests, right? And you had businesses. Starbucks still has a running partnership with Pokemon Go, where if you go to Starbucks, every Starbucks has a Pokestop with a thing that you spin, and you have to go there using their app and interact with that thing in a physical space. Imagine if you were with Sneakar and you say, hey, look, we want to unlock this thing where you have to wear a pair of Sneakars to this location, and now you can literally be driving literal foot traffic to a place based on a gamification or some sort of unlockable. It's
this
crazy
guy said
powerful.
Foot traffic. My guy, high five on that one. Way to get that in there. Foot traffic. Yes, that's exactly it. And I think you've really hit something that I want to drive home, is that what you're creating is that aha or that refresher to something that maybe people have forgotten about. But now, because there's this new thing, you're reinvigorating something that had lost legacy, right? And so I think that that's a huge value add that you just touched on. So,
yeah, and imagine how that works in big cities. You can. I mean, I'm sure if you're a marketer of any level, like, your brain is pinging on so many crazy little things right now.
Yes, I can get the augmentation to work. So why don't we try to switch my camera around, and you tell me if you can see what I'm seeing. So
let's see. All right, I can see it's got a glare on it, but it's not horrible.
My foot, like, I'm wearing a sock now, and coming off of it is an advertisement from Bone Idol Inc. and myself doing a combo giveaway on the blockchain for some NFTs. And
so shoot up behind it so we can see the sneaker behind it, right? So the sneaker's behind it right there. The camera's lined up onto there. Okay, get back in there.
And it tracks, right? The camera will track where I'm trying to find the asset. So I can move it away, and it will move with me depending on where. So
it's scaled based on where the distance. It's scaled based on the item. Yeah, got it.
So if you can see, I'm like moving it away from it, moving it closer. And this is the very baseline deliverable of what the augmentation experience can come off of. But while it is, it's also one of the coolest deliverables, and I'll tell you why if I can switch my camera back around. Hang on. Okay. So why I think that's neat personally, as someone who has a personal brand through Monster Vision and Monster as an artist, is that I may be dropping a new single or a new record or a new video, and being able to change out that mutable content at a commercial level, but that's animated, it's 20 seconds long, you don't lose people's attention, because hopefully it's intriguing enough to get them past 8 and not long enough to hold them past 30, which is really the goal. And then from there, the sky's the limit, because you're teasing a larger experience, whether that's an upcoming record, a full video release, a highlight athletic reel, a trailer for a new movie that you're super fan of your actor and fan club, right?
Yeah, I mean, brand collaboration.
Subscribe to you each year. Dude, if you got to know about a new Wes Anderson film a year before it's coming out, or a new Marvel film, or a new DC film, because you're a Batman super fan, or Wolverine or Deadpool super fan, like, that's really where it's at. So the comics realm is a whole nother level of the super fan that we really didn't even get into. I know we're out of time. The beauty of this product is it just has legs, and it keeps running and running and running. So,
and it's a whole different distribution platform, right? Like, you can change out that content to promote whatever you want at the time, right? Like,
Thank you.
yeah. So that's really, really cool.
And real
Awesome.
quick, last bit on the product before we go to exits and stuff. Our scalability is really novel, and it's really unique in the sense that I've got 20 years in merchandising. So my background is in fulfillment and in procurement and in supply chain. So that means that I've got negotiated rates with likely 20 different footwear factories at any given time, ranging the world from Brazil to Portugal to Mexico City to China to America. And so, 1 to 50, that's all good. 50 to 1,000, all good. 1,000 to 100,000, all good. Scalability is built in. The entire infrastructure of all of it, so that we can scale to branding. I sort of coming from a merchandising background, I work this thing backwards. And yes, we need to get B2C viability, and we need social proof, and we need e-com traffic. All of that is very true. Our second vertical, I will admit it now, as this emergent product, it's likely we need the most work. But really what we've done with it, and what we've done at the scalability level, is to be able to partner with any brand, from a Joe Plumber to the Energizer batteries of the world, to the Taylor Swifts of the world, right? To the LeBron Jameses of the world, to create something that millions of people can use and solve a problem, or just a few of your closest people need it done. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We definitely want the millions of people problem solving, just at least one or two of those, so we can,
I'll take one or two. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta get our bag first, like.
It's all a balance, man. It's all a balance.
Of course, well, you want to take care of everybody, but
charity is huge for us too. Philanthropy is huge. Giving back. All we have is what we leave behind in this world. So being eco-conscious and trying to use sustainable material is huge for us. We've partnered with Royal Hemp Nepal, for example. They do complete fibrous builds. So dyeing plant fibers, dyeing hemp fibers, shirts, garments, shoes, you name it, hats. It's an incredible company. So, there's a value to being able to partner with world conscious leaders like that as well.
Dope. Well, let's do a shirt run for Epic Made here shortly. We'll talk about it after the call.
Love it. Love it.
That'll be fun. Cool. All right. Well, I love it, Ian. We're coming up on time here. So, one last question for you. Is there anyone or anything in your career that you would like to shout out to the audience? Maybe a mentor, a valuable resource, or a favorite client?
Yeah, man. I just want to shout out Graffiti Kings and the journey I've been on from Graffiti Kings into GraphPunks Media and building out a full stack Web3 creative agency with them, and the trust that Darren Cullen put in me to help shape the narrative of the brand and to help bring it into Web3 and drive all these GameFi and SocialFi initiatives. I just, big shout out there, as both a thought leader and a leader in the street world, the street art world, and someone who believed in what I could bring to the table. That's it. And then, as far as at a product level that I think people should really go out there and check, aside from legit AI from a contracting standpoint, is Uncut, which is Hello Uncut or Uncut.network. And that's where I built my social proof hub. I think we were talking about it a little bit with the culture crew, but Uncut is truly that in its namesake. It acts and serves to be a centrifuge for Web3 brands, creators looking to have a place for a blog and their Discord and their video content and their creations for their community of people to support them, similar to a Patreon as you would, and you can support them monthly and get all of the perks and performative measures that you get from digital collectibles, assets, NFTs, whatever you want to call them, by being a part of the community. It's just community first. I really love the product. I believe in it, and I'm just shouting them out.
That's a Patreon Web3, more or less. Web3
sure,
Patreon.
But also it's creator centric. So I would think of it as more like visual, right? You can tie in all of your visual creations. So you're streaming your Twitch, bringing in your socials, creating blogs, minting right off the site, because you can mint directly from there on Polygon or on Wax. It's a really cool site.
Well, shit, I'm going to check that out because I've been looking at a place to do all that with my art. I've got like 70 or 80 pieces I want to mint right now.
It's great, and you can mint for free as a pro creator. It's awesome.
Beautiful. And shout out on Wax blockchain. Super awesome blockchain that not a lot of people know about. Again, a lot of the
shout
trading
out
cards.
Wax forever. Wax is free forever in gaming.
Wax is fire.
And owned assets. Yeah.
And we're going to have another guest. We're going to have another guest coming up soon, Soggy Apple Pie. is my friend. She actually created Crypto Monkeys on the Wax blockchain. Is doing some really cool shit there. So if you haven't checked out Crypto Monkeys, you should. They're little collectible monkeys that she illustrates. They're all on the Wax blockchain. They're trading.
Oh, cards. I have a few. I have so many thousands of Wax creator stuff. I love it. You know, you said it earlier. Wax is so great for creators because no gas and you can price things where you want. Yes, awesome stuff.
Really great place to build community for sure. Awesome, man. All right, so we've been talking with Ian here. Geez, sometimes I can read these scripts. We've been talking to Ian Harrison, who is the head of innovation at Sneakar. You can check out their website at sneakar.io. But if listeners want to follow up with you directly, where should they go?
Just all my socials, man. Munster Vision everywhere. That's MUENSTER Vision everywhere, man. All my socials.
Awesome. All right, Ian. Thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll see you next
time.
Thank you. We really hope you enjoyed the show. Please like and subscribe to join us on our next journey through the world of art and business on the Pixel Retentive Podcast.